Don't look now. There's something on my back.
Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new episode of Discovering Doctor Who. Today is episode 42 and the episode I'm going to be talking about is Turn Left. And oh, the things to say about this episode. Well, as many of you know, likely all of you know, this episode was being recorded at the same time as Midnight, which is why we basically got the swapped Donna Light and Dr. Light episodes. And as much as I enjoyed that last one, well, we'll talk about that in a little bit. Alright, so let's get started with the best aspects of this episode. I'm not even going to say my favorites, although it'll probably still, you know, they'll be there in the text, but just some of the best parts about this episode by far. So let's get started. Number one, Donna, or Catherine Tate, really the character and the actor. The character goes through so much in this episode. Both funny, dramatic, incredibly sad, intense. Just the character Donna goes through, I'm probably not pronouncing this word right, but such a wide gamut of events and emotions. It's just phenomenal. And Catherine Tate, I mean, her acting ability throughout her stint on this show, I mean, I think she's been really good overall, but my God, just her acting skills shown through in this episode amazingly. It was just amazing, honestly. And actually, just there's one line near the end, or maybe it's sort of near the middle mark, having to do with Donna. It's when she's talking with Rose, and she says, "I'm nothing special," or "I'm not special. I'm nothing special. I'm just a temp." And well, for those of you that might have seen, you know, one of my more recent videos having to do with depression and stuff like that, is like, when she said that line, I mean, it's reflective of the character in and of herself. It's like she doesn't believe in herself. She, you know, she's been going through all of these horrible things, and the mere idea that she, in an alternate world, or the real world in this case, traveled with the Doctor and did all these extraordinary things, it doesn't even seem real to her. And it just, that line right there just hit me hard, because it's like that, you know, that's the kind of mindset when you're going through something like that, whether it's, you know, an event specific, you know, emotional state. Sorry, pets are kind of going crazy upstairs. Or you're going through depression. It's just like, you know, you don't feel special, you don't feel positive about yourself, and just, oh, the character Donna, I'm just gonna say she was by far the best part about this episode, and, you know, deservingly so. It was an episode focused on her and without the Doctor, except for the very end and beginning. And whew, just amazing job from Catherine Tate. And as far as her performance as Donna and the writing for Donna, top notch the entire episode. Now, the second best part about this episode, just the Earth without the Doctor. This parallel universe, this parallel world where the Doctor died on the night where he was supposed to have met Donna. And just all the events that follow afterward, just seeing this alternate timeline take place was just crazy to watch. just the different possibilities. And then when the Titanic, whereas the Doctor had obviously saved it before, but it crashes into London and well, directly into Buckingham Castle, and just the idea that all of that area is gone, just the massive destruction, that Donna not meeting the Doctor way before she really became a core part of the story, just it was intense. It was absolutely, I don't even know how to put it into words, and really this whole episode kind of leaves me feeling that way. But yeah, there's actually one aspect in particular. It's after the fallout has occurred, where they start moving the people that used to live in London to different locations. Again, that's going to be something I hit on later, actually, in the quote of the episode. So I'll move on from there, but yeah, just the world without the Doctor. And actually, before I move on from that, one thing that caught my attention, the Master never came back. Like, there's no mention of Saxon, none of the, I can't remember what they were called, but the little orb creatures, none of that happened. None of that is even kind of sort of in the history books at that point. So without the Doctor, they never went that far in the future for the Master to come back. So I just thought that was a really interesting and well-connected point, in my opinion. But again, moving on, the next best part about this episode, Rose. Rose is back. And I mean, it's been great to see her popping up here or there throughout the season, but to actually see her in the episode, to have her actually interacting with Donna, to have some of the, I would say, a more mature Rose on screen, I really enjoyed that. I mean, and the first time we see her when she's running, she's trying to find the Doctor, and just the devastation in her face when she realizes that he's dead. That just, I don't know, it was just great to have Billie Piper back on the show, and it was great to see the character Rose again. And she seems much more mature now. I don't know how much time might have taken place in her parallel universe where she's been for a long time, but yeah, it's just been, it was really good to have her back. I know some of the commenters have said that I guess it's around this time they start to not really care for Rose. But I don't see it yet. Maybe that happens in the next few episodes coming up. But yeah, overall, I'm just really happy to see Rose back. Now, the next best part about this episode, there's something on your back. That line from back in the Fires of Pompeii that just completely confused me, brought back and revealed what it really is. That beetle, like that gigantic bug. And then throughout the rest of the episode, just having people, well, especially Rose most of the time, but like just different people, you know, looking over her shoulder, not sure what they're seeing or not. And then the soldier, like getting ready to shoot Donna because it sees this creature on her back and it's freaking him out that much. That was just such an intense moment. And so, yeah, even, I mean, the thing is obviously fake. It's a gigantic bug, but, you know, at least they didn't use CGI and make it all shiny. But the fact that it was like just an actual prop that was on her back, and just the not seeing it there, even though as the viewer we know it's there, was just really trippy and really interesting, and part of this episode I really liked. So yeah, just there's something on your back. No, there's nothing on mine, thankfully. The next best part is the sacrifice. Now, as all of you know, when it comes to sacrifices that I honestly believe are unnecessary in an episode, it really annoys me. But in this episode, I feel like it was really well done. It was literally Donna's only chance to turn things around, to make her past self turn left instead of turning right. And I mean, you know, Rose had said that she would have to die, and in the end, I guess it's true. It's like she had to sacrifice herself in order to fix history, or in order, I'm kind of confused about that, but it's like in order to get herself out of this little pocket universe that was within the real world. I don't know, maybe I'm overthinking that, but it was just, in this case, the sacrifice was well done, in my opinion. It was one of those moments where you truly believe that this is the only possible chance that she has. Or at least that's the way I saw it. Now, the final best part about this episode, Bad Wolf. When Rose whispered the words into Donna's ear, and Donna was trying to remember what she said when she's going back and forth with the doctor, when she has his complete attention when he mentions that the woman was blonde. I honestly, my thoughts were, it's like the two words were going to be Rose Tyler. And that would have just been this insane look of happiness on his face. But then when she said Bad Wolf, it was one of those moments, it's like it just sent chills down my spine. It's just kind of like, oh. And then the doctor runs out, and this part was kind of cheesy, in my opinion. It's like, you know, it's kind of erratic and crazy, but with like seeing all the banners with Bad Wolf on it, I thought that was kind of funny, but you know, it's just at the same time a really intense moment. And just Bad Wolf. But as with pretty much all the episodes, there are some annoyances I have, and these, as usual, may not be major annoyances to you all, but they are things that bug me. So my first annoyance with this episode, where did the beetle come from? Like, I get that it's with that fortune teller lady, but even after it falls off, I think the doctor kind of explains what it was or what it was doing, but I don't know, it just seemed kind of brushed over as far as what it was and where it came from. It just left me kind of wanting a little bit more of an explanation. It just, okay, what was it? Where did it come from? I mean, yeah, it's a giant beetle that's apparently capable of creating a pocket universe or something. But yeah, it was left unexplained, and I would really like a little bit more explanation. Now, if I was just kind of befuddled at the time and I did miss the explanation, please let me know in the comments, because yeah, I'm just kind of left wanting here. And it really does bug me that the bug, while apparently a major plot point, it's just kind of unexplained. But moving on, my second annoyance with this episode, and this one's definitely more of a nitpick than anything, but the first person to notice or see the beetle on Donna's back, it's the woman that she's having, I guess it was like a Christmas dinner with, or like sitting at the bar with. And, you know, at first it's not too bad, like the woman seems kind of freaked out, but then when they're outside and everyone else has run away and the woman is standing behind Donna, the performance she gives while staring at her back and backing away and then screaming and running away, that was one of, I mean, in an episode of admittedly really good acting, like, easily the worst performance in the entire episode. And again, amidst all of this really good acting, it's not a major issue, but it was an annoyance, because it's like, I'm watching this and she just completely freaks out and runs away like she's in some bad B horror movie. I couldn't help but laugh at a point where I felt like I really shouldn't have been. Like, that was one of those points where pretty much everyone else had me a little bit creeped out, but she just made me laugh. And it just, it pulled me out of the episode for just that little bit. And yeah, yeah, whatever. Like I said, it's just a nitpick, and I'm making too much out of it in the way I'm really explaining it. But time to get into the quote of the episode, and this is one, as I say for several episodes, you know, there were a lot of lines that were really powerful, really well done, and easily could have been quote of the episode for me. And I'm sure that some of you might have, like, some of those possibilities, might mention them as your favorite quote of the episode. But for me, it was a line from Wilf. And this is actually what I was referring to earlier. Because the line took me by surprise, because I guess I just wasn't paying attention, and I actually had to rewind and rewatch the scene, and ended up kind of disturbing myself in a major way. But it's when I can't remember their names, but the family that they were living with in the house, where they got displaced to, is being taken away. And when I was first watching the scene, I was thinking, oh, okay, well, you know, this is really messed up, this is really racist, but they're, okay, dividing up the land, they're sending people to their own country is, okay, you know, that's whatever. It's like, for some reason, I didn't make the connection of a certain word, or rather a certain phrase that they used. And I guess it was just because I was concentrating on Donna and, like, kind of how clueless she seemed to be at the time. But the line Wilf says is this: labor camps. That's what they called them last time. When he said that line, it immediately snapped me out of whatever little, like, you know, confusion I was in. I was just like, what? So I rewound that scene and watched it again in chills the entire time. Labor camps. They were taking these people to labor camps. And just the simple idea of that. Even now, like, my entire body is shivering. Just with the simple idea of that. In a work of fiction, in an alternate universe that doesn't exist really in the Doctor Who universe. Like, this is, it's really just a what if. It never occurs, but just the idea of that horrifies me. And actually, I would say that that line right there, to me, in thinking in, like, humanitarian ways, that's more horrifying to me than the two-parter that Moffat wrote, Midnight, combined. Just the simple idea of that, and that line right there, like I said, it just snapped me out of whatever little haze I was in, like not completely paying attention, I guess. And to rewatch that scene, knowing what Wilf said at the end, just horrifies me. It really horrifies me. Now, overall, this episode has got to be one of the absolute best episodes I think I've seen in Doctor Who so far. I don't know how much it'll hold up on repeat viewings, admittedly, but for this time right here, I mean, I feel like it's been building up, you know, because the earlier episodes with Donna, I really enjoyed them, but admittedly they weren't that great. I really enjoyed them all the same. But then recently, it's like it's really been on a steep incline. Like, you know, just getting better and better. And this one was just phenomenal. Like, even the two annoyances that I pointed out earlier, minor at best, and really don't bother me that much at all. As usual, I was just kind of nitpicking, like I have been with the last few episodes. But yeah, it was just so... It's just such a good episode. And I don't know what else to say about that. It's like, you know, honestly, so a lot of aspects of this episode just left me speechless. So really, you know, thinking of what to say about them was actually a little bit hard for me. But yeah, just a great great episode. You know, if you don't like this one, I can only imagine it's because you don't like Donna as a character. You might just find her annoying in general, and, you know, to each their own. I guess I can understand that if you just don't connect with the character, but for me, it was just easily one of the best episodes and one of my favorite new shows, with my favorite companion as the center of the episode. So yeah, this is really high on here, which honestly terrifies me, because we're coming up to what is essentially the two-part finale for this season, for this series. And I have this horrible feeling that as it's going uphill, it's gonna just like roller coaster to hell. Not in quality, but I have a feeling that whatever happens at the end is going to just punch me in the gut. Really, really hard. Maybe like punch me in the gut about 50 times. But yeah. I don't know what else to say. But actually that brings me to my next point. Two quick mentions. Well, actually one quick mention, then I get into what I want to say. First quick mention is, later this week, be on the lookout for the contest video where I'm going to show you the different artists that I'm going to have you to choose from in the contest, including the rules that will be you know, within that video. You get to see some of the examples of the artists. I'll provide links to their sites so you can check out more of what they've done. And again, thank you all very much for joining up and getting us over 500 subscribers. I can't tell you how happy it makes me to know that over 500 people would like to see my videos. It makes me so happy. But moving on from that, the next episode will be next week, and the video is going to be a little bit different. It's still going to be a two-parter. I'm going to cover the episodes The Stolen Earth and Journey's End. But what I'm going to do is, it's going to be filmed in a sort of reaction style, where I'm going to watch both episodes with the camera on me, so you can catch my reactions, and here or there I'll pause and I'll talk about a little bit what's going on. Or I might change it up from there. I'm not entirely sure. I just want to try something different, because several people have been building this up and I'm really scared about what's going to happen to Donna. And I figure what better, you know, pair of episodes to get some reactions with than this one. But yeah, as usual, I can't include any scenes, but, you know, that's just mostly because I don't want to get copyright claims and get in trouble with the BBC, because that would really suck, because I really enjoy this show. Alright, but anyway, everyone, as always, thank you so much for joining me for this new episode of Discovering Doctor Who. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you all next week for the episodes The Stolen Earth and Journey's End. Are we going to see the Bad Wolf again? And is this really the end of the universe? And why are the stars going out? Until next time, Alonzi!